Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and connoisseurs of the written word. There is a saying in drinking circles that alcohol is good for the heart but bad for the brain. I'm not a doctor, so it is not for me to either endorse this remark or confute it. I suggest you consult with your doctor regarding the veracity of this statement. Be that as it may, the fact is, based on what I've observed, based on what I've witnessed, people drink too excessively, too egregiously for alcohol to be good either for their heart or for their brain. I think they drink so much that alcohol is neither good for their heart nor for their brain. It's as simple as that. And it doesn't stop just with the heart and the brain. I mean, alcohol in excess damages not just your heart and your brain, but your liver and a whole bunch of other organs in your body. Certainly, if you drink to excess, you wake up the next morning feeling really awful, okay, what we call a hangover. And when you look in the mirror, you look pretty awful too. So, what you see in the mirror pretty much reflects the way you feel. You'll need to take a couple of slugs of really hard black coffee before you find yourself somewhat revivified. So, coming back, alcohol is basically pernicious. Alcohol, in fact, causes so much damage to society in terms of the damage it does to families, the financial devastation it causes, the homicides conducted. There's a loud noise. I'll stop for a moment. Okay, now to return. The homicides committed while under its influence, that you could say alcohol almost causes a low scale war inside a society or a country, even when there is no war. I mean, excuse me, the damage level produced by alcohol is comparable to that of a low scale war in terms of the number of people who die in traffic accidents, the number of people who get killed under its influence, the financial devastation it causes, the families it tears apart, the fetal alcohol syndrome babies it produces, defective babies with small brains and poor attention spans. I mean, we are talking about a really damaging agent here. The fact is, very few people have sufficient self-discipline to drink alcohol in moderate quantities. Okay. Now, I don't deny that alcohol has some beneficial effect in terms of the fact that it calms you. Okay, but that means that means you need to drink it in a really very 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 small quantities to get that relaxing effect. Anything beyond that is intoxication. It's as simple as that. The problem is very few people stop at these very, 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 very small quantities. They proceed to excess. They move from relaxation to ravishment. They're not contented with just being relaxed. They want to be ravished. They're not contented with just enjoying the alcohol. They want euphoria. They want ecstasy. So they go to higher doses, and that's where the damage begins. So I know very few people, I know of only very few people who drink alcohol in a disciplined manner. and partake of its beneficial effects, if you might call it that. I mean, there are a variety of ways you can relax yourself. You don't need to resort to alcohol. But be that as it may, there are some people who are very disciplined, who drink alcohol in extreme moderation, and who relax themselves on a daily basis using alcohol. Now, I have no quarrel with them, no quarrel with that fact. Okay? I know it from personal experience that it does relax you, provided you take it in super small quantities. I mean, really small quantities. So, given all, excuse me, so given all these deleterious effects of alcohol, multiple deleterious effects of alcohol that literally devastate societies, both in Asia and in Europe and in the United States and in Africa, we're talking about a worldwide war, a worldwide silent war, actually, that is going on in terms of the amount of damage produced. Given all this, I think it would be a really good idea to not drink alcohol at all. Okay? So, not drinking alcohol is a good virtue to cultivate. And there are such people, people who don't drink alcohol at all. No, we're not talking about people who drink alcohol in moderation or in very small quantities. We are talking about people who don't drink alcohol at all. I mean, not a drop, not a sip, not a sip. And I've known people like that who have not touched a drop of alcohol in 40 years and probably never will. They don't even know the meaning of the word intoxication and inebriation. Okay? So, what do you call a person like that who has this really desirable trait, who doesn't need alcohol to calm himself or comfort himself? Okay, you call such a person. Let's write it out. You call such a person a nephalist. Okay, so you have this word. Let's zoom in. Okay, nephalist. 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 The H doesn't look very prominent there, so perhaps I should. Okay, that highlights it better. A nephalist. I know you heard another word for it, teetotaler, but that sounds a bit too facile and a bit too comical for someone who is so solemn and so abstemious. Okay, so abstaining from alcohol is a good thing. Total abstinence from alcohol. What do we call total abstinence from alcohol? We call a person who doesn't drink alcohol at all a nephalist, but what do you call not drinking alcohol at all, abstaining from alcohol totally? What do you call the state, this this habit? That is called ni fa l I s m. Okay, so that is the second word. Nephalism. 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 Now, both these words are nouns. Nephalist and nephalism are nouns. So these are unusual words. I mean, abstaining from alcohol is done by so many people worldwide. At least between 20 to 30% of the population worldwide does not drink. So that we are talking therefore in billions. So you'd think this word would be more well known, but it isn't. It really isn't. You could stop a man on the street and ask him what nephalism means, he wouldn't know. You could ask a nephalist whether he knows what nephalist means, and he wouldn't know what nephalist meant either. He wouldn't realize that that word describes his virtue, describes him, in fact. Nor would he know what nephalism meant, although he was practicing that habit and embodied that trait. So if you can control yourself, if you can be a disciplined person, if you can be Spartan, if you can be stoic, if you can be stiff upper lipped, if you can have fortitude, then I'm sure you can be the nephalist. It's worth it. It's worth it because you wake up each morning feeling better compared to when you drink alcohol. You save money. Alcohol is not cheap, especially if you drink wine. If you're a lover of wine, wine is not cheap. So you save money, you save your health, and moreover, more importantly, you keep your judgment. One of the worst traits about alcohol is that it compromises judgment. I mean, it fatally compromises judgment. People do things, say things under the influence of alcohol that they end up regretting later. Not just regretting later, but regretting for life. You pay a penalty for one single incident that was done under the influence of alcohol for a lifetime. Okay, so alcohol is a bad business. I mean, if you're disciplined, by all means use it, provided you can drink it in a really, really, really moderate quantities. Otherwise, I recommend you abstain from it totally. I'm not trying to be condescending here. I'm not trying to be patronizing here. As someone who has imbibed alcohol myself, I'm well aware of what it can and cannot do for you, what kind of damage it can do for you. So basically, I don't touch alcohol anymore. I certainly feel better. I save a pile of money. I have a better sleep. And I don't make errors of judgment. Alcohol is as bad as lack of sleep, as anger, in compromising judgment. All these things compromise judgment, by the way, not just alcohol. Lack of sleep, anger, any emotion, sadness, depression, ill health, all these um, compromise judgment. So it's not just alcohol you need to watch out for. You ought to also have to watch out for your anger, whether you're getting enough sleep, and so on. Okay? So with that, once again, I'm not being patronizing, I'm not being condescending, I'm just speaking from personal experience. So there's no point in just me learning a lesson. It's useful for others to learn a lesson that, if not learned, can prove to be lethal. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you now with these two lovely words. Try to imbibe the trait called nephalism, and try to be the nephalist. Try to be that one solitary figure in a party, virtuously sipping from a glass of orange juice, while everyone else around you is getting dizzy and drunk on alcohol. Okay? You can feel really smug about it. You know? Nothing wrong with feeling smug, because you're being smug about a virtuous trait. And I'm sure you'll be a role model for all of them. Once they see that yellow liquid gleaming in your cut glass, perhaps they'll be inspired also to quit alcohol and join a party of orange juice drinkers. Now that's a good sight. A party where everyone is just drinking little yellow glasses of orange juice. Okay, I guess I'll stop now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.